Hello everyone, welcome to another session. And today's session we will be stepping a bit away from Defender series and then we'll concentrate on Microsoft Endpoint Manager. Uh, One of our subscribers, Luke, requested for Windows update on how to do Windows update through Endpoint Manager. So today we will discuss about Windows Update for Business, or in short WUFB, on how to update your Windows devices using update rings policies and how to manage feature update. And we are also covering quality updates, which is very new and it's still in preview mode. So welcome to my channel. Okay, so before Endpoint Manager, we used to have several methods to update Windows. We have used soft update service like Windows Soft Update Service, like Windows WSUS. You have your System Center to manage updates. A lot of third-party applications available. As you have seen, there is many features that come up with endpoint managers, and one of the coolest features that I've been actively using is Windows 10 update rings. It's a very simple, straightforward update option where it basically pushes the updates based on the configuration profiles you have set, and you can configure the kind of feature update that you want to push it. And recently they released something for quality update. So if you have an emergency patch or a patch Tuesday update that you want to push beyond the regular patch cycles, you could use the Windows 10 quality updates now. So with these three combinations, you can actually manage your Windows update. And there are a few other things that you can do. For example, delivery optimization, which used to work even in Windows 10 previously. Like if you have few machines in your network, one Windows machine can download the patches and then distribute over the local network to reduce the internet bandwidth. So let's look at how to create a base update ring, and then we'll look into how to add a feature update or a quality update. So all you have to do is go to Endpoint Manager Admin Center and then devices. We could go to Windows devices straight from here, and then you will see all these three options: Windows 10 feature updates and then Windows 10 quality updates. So let's start with Windows 10 feature updates, with Windows 10 rings, update rings, and then I'll try to explain each section as we go through this. Let's create a profile and we'll say Win 10 update ring. Click next. This is where you have your entire Windows update settings that you need to configure. So I'll try to walk you through pretty much all the features, all the options, and then you can choose from there. Again, as I always say, my general practice or my general advice for you to roll out anything, including Windows update, is to have a small pilot group within your IT team, roll it out to them, and then roll out to a small batch of your actual business users, non-critical, somebody who has actually whom you have in a good rapport with, so you can get some help and feedback from them, who is actively giving you feedback. Every company will have that the friendly team who actually could give you a very good idea on what's happening. So mainly the non-critical ones, which doesn't break the business, but have that business pilot group, roll it out to them and see how it goes. Give it some time. Again, patience is the key here. Give it some time, and then once it's all good, then you roll out to the wider public. So what I used to do is I keep -1 or -2 version. So let's say I have 2004 version, I will have 2004 version on an IT pilot group, but 1909 for everyone else, and then we eventually move. But we just make sure that all the security updates are up to date, same day updates or the next day updates. But the major version upgrade would be on a slow process with proper testing. This cycle actually helps you to get a better productive system, and then less breaking, less problems, less issues. It's a good way to approach this in a stage by stage upgrade option. So you can choose a service channel. Again, every options has an I information button where you can choose. I usually choose the semi annual channel. Insider is when you want to have an early release before it is available to public. You can test out things. You can even use an insider approach, but let's stick to semi-annual channels. Do you want Microsoft product updates? Allow. And drivers? Allow. This is where you defer your quality updates. So quality updates for a pilot, for example, or IT pilot, I don't need to defer it. Feature update, you could, let's say, again back to the same thing. IT pilot is, let's say, first day is IT pilot, maybe 2 weeks later is your business pilot, and maybe a month later is your the production rollout. So this is about how many days this update ring is deferred from the launch of this, from the release date of this particular version. So let's say 2004 version is released in let's say October or November. From there, how many days this update should be deferred? I'm just keeping it 0 for now because I want to get the latest updated soon. And then you can keep feature update uninstalled period. So let's say you got a feature update installed on a machine or a bunch of machines. You found that there are problems on this update which is causing, let's say, a blue screen error or some performance problems. You have that option to set an uninstall period from where you can just go to that machine and uninstall that feature update. It's a very handy tool or a very handy option just to make sure that if something is wrong with that particular feature update, you can revert back. You can set from minimum 2 to 60 days. I'm using the default 10 days, which means I have 10 days to restore back to the previous version. What do you need to do when an automatic update is available? You can install at a maintenance time, which you can set your start and end time, or you can auto install and restart at a maintenance time, or a scheduled time, or reboot without end user control. So let's say if you go to a scheduled time, you can say every week, any day, 3 a.m. This will be scheduled and this will be set to the machine that every week, any day, whenever there's an update at 3 a.m. this update will push in. So I would set to auto install reboot because I want to be a bit more aggressive on our test machines and see how it works. Restart checks is basically, do you want them to allow or skip the restarts? Okay, set to skip all check before restart. So yeah, it will, before restarting, it will set to check your battery level, your display, if it is in presentation mode. So this is all checked before the restart, so to make sure that the user doesn't lose data or the machine crashes for some reason. You can enable to pause Windows updates, and you can also enable to check for Windows update. Where you get from Windows check for updates, you can enable from here, so the user or the IT admin can check for any updates on demand. And then the question is, require user approval to dismiss. So do you want to dismiss the auto restart notification, and then how many hours or days the user gets reminded before the auto restart, and what's a permanent reminder that it's gonna restart, how many times, how many hours or minutes that you need to set. You can use the default Windows update notification, or you can turn off the notifications completely. I would want to keep it very transparent for the users, so they are aware of what's happening, and they get as much information as possible for what they can process, and then say, okay, there's a restart happening, there's an update happening. You can also set up deadlines for feature update, so this way you are forcing that within these days the machine must update. and you can also set an auto reboot before the deadline. I'm not setting it, I'm just keeping the defaults, keeping it simple. Here you just need to add a group. We will create a dedicated group for this, and then we'll click next and create. Now the reason why I always suggest to keep a dedicated group is that because of this, if you make some small changes on one policy or one thing, it doesn't affect everything, even though it could be the same machine on the different policy. But having a separate group and a separate policy is always easier to manage for that particular thing. And as you can see, it's running, it's all running. It just need a machine to be in the group, and then it will start pushing the updates. So let's quickly create the group. I will open a new tab. I'm going to create a new group called Windows 10 Update Group. So Win 10 Update Group, and then I'll copy this, add members. I say IT02, that's a computer, select, create. So now I've created this group. All I need to do is go back to my Windows Update ring and go to the properties and set that device group. Go to assignments, add groups, and paste the group that you just created. And that's it. You saved it. While this is happening, let me just bring you back to a feature update. So this is where you can actually, so the first update ring will set the deferred dates, but this is where you can actually set saying you want all your machines to be on a specific version. So let's say I want my machine to be 20H2. Okay, so Win 10 20H2 version. All you do is select the future version to deploy and add the group. Again, Windows 10 update. So this way, again, this has its own issues because it's still on preview. Unfortunately, it's on preview for a very long time. I've checked with Microsoft, and then they mentioned that there are still a lot of bug fixes that they're doing. They're actively doing it. One of the things that I've noticed is even after setting a specific feature update ring, some machines might jump on from there and then go to a different version. So one thing that I did was to stop. For obvious reasons, I didn't want every machine to directly go into the latest version without proper testing. Some rings I've created with enough deferred dates to have the latest feature update blocked. I've given 1 year, for example, so that before that I get enough time to make sure every version is updated, everything is supported, all business application works well, and then I can just create a new profile and then push it. So now we have created a feature update ring, we have created an update ring, and let's go to a client and see what happens there. So I'm on my client. Let's sync the machine quickly. I'm going to accounts, access worker school. This is where you always get the new machine to sync, to get all the profiles, and then once the profile is synced, we will check the Windows update and see if it is updating to the 2004 version. So I'll give it some time to let it sync. I've not been turning on this machine for quite some time, so let it sync, let it get the policies, and I'll come back. So it's still updating the settings, but I want to show you something while it's happening. So I just did another sync and a restart on the computer, and again going to access worker school, and I'm syncing it. One quick thing I want to show you is on update and security. From the regular Windows update, it changed to something called, some settings are managed by your organizations and view policies. So the policies are not yet downloaded to the machine, but as you can see, the regular Windows update is now changed with a different set of policies. If you go back to Intune, and then if you look at your update ring, let's look at the device status, and it says, oh, there is an error. This is why I like to do a live demo, so that I can find out issues and then fix it on the go. So let's look at the configuration and see why this has an error. It says 10 has an error. Servicing channel is not applicable on this device. Okay, so let's look at what's the device version. See, one thing I missed to tell you is this device is being on the internet and having an auto update, so maybe the device version is different. Okay, I think the insider version is okay, because to test insider versions I have used the machine for to be on insider, which is why it says the service channel is different. Because if you remember, I set my insider version, or sorry, the service version here as semi-annual channel. There was an option for insider version, so instead I set it to semi-annual channel. But when the configuration was they were trying to push the configuration to this device, it's on insider version, so the service channel is different, which is why that update is failed. So I'm going to leave the insider program and then reboot the machine again, let the policy take over from there, and then see if it works. So I'm gonna click on leave the insider program, do a quick restart, and then try again. I'm not gonna keep the recording on. We'll restart, come back and check again, and then I'll show you that. Now that I've given some time, let's look at the device configuration and see how the Windows Update configuration is in effect now. Let's look at device configuration. Okay, so the Windows 10 update ring is successful now. All the setting is in effect. Let's look at the Windows client setting. There you go. So now, if you remember, I set the device at 3 AM it finishes, so or you can restart now. Feature update 20H2 is pending. If I restart now or let it restart on its own scheduled time, Windows will update to its version, and then you will see that. So I'll pause it again, finish the update, and then finally show you the end result on your interface on Endpoint Manager. So I'm back after a restart, and then I can see that the machine is 20H2. I'd also want to show you on the update and security. Now the policies are clear. When you click on view configured update policies, you see that all of these policies are updated. One specific point I want to mention here on my production systems where I had group policies taking over Windows Update. Some of the policies, even after removing the group policy, I had some tattooed policies which I have to remove. How I figured it out is when you look at this configure update policies, I saw some of the policies shown as group policy. So I had to remove the tattooed policy from the affected machine and restart, and then you can see that all the policies are now from mobile device management. So this is how you can manage your Windows using Windows Update for Service. No updates are available now. When I look at my Windows version is 20H2. If I go back to my update ring and then I device status, I see the device is successful now. All the configurations are in place. So if you look at the Windows Update ring, all of them are successful now, which is very good. And then if you look at the feature updates, you can see that the feature update is should be successful as well. Okay, I think it shows update failed. It did not just update yet from the machine, yes, but as I've shown you the device, it's on 20H2 already, so it's a matter of time pushing that update to the portal. So this is how you can manage your Windows Update rings using Windows Update rings on Endpoint Manager. One final point is something that they recently released, Microsoft recently released, is your Windows 10 quality updates. It's the same way you do feature updates, but if you want to do some for example emergency quality updates or security updates, this is how you do it. You just select and select which update that you want to push. Do you want to wait before restart is enforced, or for immediate update, immediate restart, or 1 day or 2 days? You select that. So it when we do the expedite software updates, it can help to decrease the time to get compliance, and it actually pushes the update apart from the regular update cycles. All you need to do is the same feature, you update, you add your groups here, and then push next. So this is how you manage your Windows updates, Windows update rings, and I hope these features comes again. As I mentioned, it is still in preview mode, so you might find some glitches, you might find some issues, but I think eventually they will be releasing this to general availability very soon, and then we can completely rely on feature updates and quality updates from there. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to share your comments and feedback. I have seen few questions. I would need some time to answer those questions with probably some videos. So stay tuned for more videos. I hope all are safe. Stay safe and take care. Thank you.